Former ANC President Jacob Zuma has been expelled from the ANC. In a leaked document, the ANC's National Disciplinary Committee found Zuma guilty of 2 charges of misconduct. The charges are in relation to the announcement Zuma made on the 16th of December 2023 that he would not be campaigning nor voting for the ANC. Zuma was also charged for his role in the registration of the Umkhonto weSizwe party as a political party and giving it his blessing. MK Party spokesperson Nhlamulo Ndhlela joins me now. And Nhlamulo, good morning to you. Thank you very much for your time and welcome to the program. Do you know if this has been all officially communicated to Mr. Zuma?
Good morning, Iman, and good morning to your viewers. Look, Iman, as you would have also heard and seen, there was a document in a form of, that said that, President Zuma has been expelled from the ANC. This was not sent to us formally. And also what is interesting to note is that that same document was dated the 29th, meaning today. And one senior veteran of the ANC went on national TV, as you recall last night, stating that indeed, this document would be signed only today. Now, guess what? What's interesting is that this morning, we receive a signed document dated the 28th. Now, if this is not like kangaroo court and clownish tendencies by so-called leadership of the ANC, I don't know what else is. I mean, and then they want to come and say and create an impression as if this document was not leaked. Well, he confirmed it yesterday on national TV, effectively, by saying that an unsigned document to be signed today and then backdating it and giving us to the signed document today is just clownish in of itself.
So, I mean, look, the MK Party, as well as Mr. Zuma, has always viewed these proceedings, in a disparaging way anyway. So, again, this conforms, what you're sharing with me now, conforms to that idea that you have of the proceedings and, in fact, the charges themselves, that, it's been handled in a way that is less than optimal. I want to go to some of the merits, but before I do, given, as you say, that, you found out about it in the way that you did, has the news of this reached Mr. Zuma, and what is his reaction if it has?
Well, President Zuma obviously became aware of this document that was circulating in social media last night, and obviously the TV interviews that were done, he's aware. And then obviously, again, this morning, the letter that's now being backdated and signed by the chairperson of the NDC being sent, he's now aware of that as well. And, President Zuma in this case will then make a decision as to how he goes about it. And we'll support him in that. Right now, he'll obviously have to mull over the actual document and take it from there and consult legal.
So there is this issue that the ANC has raised in Nhlamulo, and I wondered your thoughts on it. The ANC said that upon joining the party and becoming a member, Zuma had taken a vow to abide by the rules and the terms of the ANC constitution, its policy decisions, that he promised to respect the organization and its structures, to defend the unity and integrity of the organization. And this is reading from the opening of that NDC document. How do you view that pledge against the actions that Mr. Zuma has taken and his outcome? Because against that backdrop, it wouldn't be surprising, would it?
Well, it's rather unfortunate that they never gave President Zuma a platform, which he so eagerly wanted, to present himself and have this, in person. And he would have articulated himself why he believes he has not broken any oath of that nature. And it's unfortunate, rather, that they never gave him that platform for him to explain himself. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how President Zuma feels about that. President Zuma is very well articulate and knows more about politics than most of those that presided over his case.
What do you believe has been achieved? As you say, you can't speak on his behalf. He would have loved that opportunity to share and defend himself against those allegations, sort of verbally in the way that he had initially planned. What do you think has been achieved here by not giving in to those terms? For him to appear publicly and for him to appear face to face and for the matter to be broadcast publicly?
Well, I mean, this is what's interesting, and you'll see in our statement that this is synonymous, and this is further exposing that there's always Zuma laws and laws that never apply to everyone else. This is no different to what happened in the Zondo Commission when President Zuma requested that Zondo recuse himself. And then they went on to incarcerate him for a period of 15 months without an option of a fair trial, and let alone a fine. Now, this is repeating itself, and it just tells you that the ANC in of itself is no different, and in actual fact is part of the legal system that oppresses its own kind. This is just what it is, So what do you expect? And this is more than anything else. I think President Zuma has been, by virtue of these two instances, these two scenarios, been able to expose that there's only Zuma laws and no laws for everyone else. And what's sad is that even those in the ANC that may be, holding this in jubilation and being excited, they must remember, if this can happen to President Zuma, this can happen to them. This is the reality. So they should not be excited and jumping all around. The reality is that this can also be used as an instrument to deal with them under the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa.
Again, as you say, Nhlamulo, it's early days. Would you be able to suggest whether, the former president would be appealing this? He's got 21 days in which to do so.
Well, that's, President Zuma will make that decision in consultation with his legal team. Now that he will engage legal. As you'll recall, he had recommended that Commander Tony Ngeni in this case represent him. So himself, Commander Tony Ngeni, and his legal team will engage and then, make an announcement in terms of how they move forward.
Any word from Tony Ngeni? As you've said, he's represented Mr. Zuma in these proceedings. Anything from him about how things went, what he's... And we're hoping to speak to him. We did put in a request. Hopefully it will happen before the end of our program. But it will give us a sense of how those talks went, what was said in the room. Has any of those conversations taken place behind the scenes? It'll just give us some understanding about what happened once the announcement was made or once news of the announcement reached Mr. Zuma.
Well, I can't say much for that. I mean, Commander Tony Ngeni will say, exactly what transpired. Look, there's going to be a recording, which we expect that it will be circulated and shared with the public. But I think more than anything else, what was concerning and very worrisome is that, Fiji Mbalula attempted to intimidate Comrade Tony Ngeni, in trying to let him not, or rather be fearful of representing President Zuma, of which unfortunately he met a very strong person in the form of Commander Tony Ngeni. But again, these are tactics that they'll always try and use. Unfortunately, they didn't yield any outcomes that they wanted. And, we'll then take it from there in terms of how they believe. When I say they, I'm talking about President Zuma and Commander Ngeni and his legal team decide to move on with this. Until then, let's wait for them.
Yeah. And Nhlamulo, just two things. And, there's been so much talk about these developments. It is a significant moment, no doubt, in Mr. Zuma's political life, but also for the ANC. It's historic, in fact. And some of the conversation this morning, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it, was the one was from an analyst this morning who was saying, how do you build a new organization when you are fighting for your leader to remain a member of another? And I'm just adding in, clearly the ANC is a political rival of the MK.
Well, I guess you'd be asking me the question in a different way as to why does President Zuma stated on the 16th of December 2023 that he's an ANC member and he'll die an ANC member. Now, remember, why Mkhonto weSizwe was formed, let's maybe educate some of your viewers. It was formed off the back of a straitjacketed ANC that was disbanded in 1960. In 1961, Mkhonto weSizwe, the military wing, was established to take back the country by way of the bullet. This ANC is also bought and is straitjacketed. President Zuma, in this case, then formed Mkhonto weSizwe as a party that would then win back the country by way of the ballot. Now, even then, President Zuma was a member of the ANC and a member of MK. President Zuma also, by the way of the Bill of Rights, has got the right to campaign and vote for any political party that he wishes, if he believes that this ANC in which he believes is no longer the ANC that represents him or the people of this country. So people need to allow President Zuma to also exercise his constitutional rights, which they continuously are violating. Okay. And why are they always violating President Zuma's rights? Here's another issue to raise quickly. In 2016, the same ANC went toe-to-toe in Nhlamulo against the SSCP, the likes of Blade Nzimande. Went toe-to-toe with the ANC. Were they ever expelled? Were they ever dealt with in the same way? No. That's why we say there's always Zuma laws. Why is it that they, at that point in time in 2016, were not expelled and dealt with the same way they're dealing with President Zuma.
Does this, and a very, sorry, Nhlamulo, just a final quick thing I just want to ask. Given this principle then,
No
of
problem.
course it's very specific to the way the MK was formed and Mr. Zuma's role in that formation. But in a different context, I mean, if there is an MK member that wants to start a different party, not vote for the MK, you know, lobby for that party, would that be tolerated in the Mkhonto Wesizwe party?
Well, people are allowed to go and vote for whichever political party they wish. That's just the reality. How many people within the ANC right now voted for Mkhonto Wesizwe yet are still members of the ANC? Do you know? Well, we can tell you, I know a lot of them. Because this ANC doesn't represent them anymore. So if people feel that Mkhonto Wesizwe is no longer a party that represents them and we're not doing a good job, then they're allowed to exercise their rights and vote for whichever political party that they wish. Until then,
Yeah.
you know, our constitution, which we are finalizing, will obviously unpack how we deal with those kind of scenarios. But unfortunately, there won't be laws for individuals and they won't be punitive.
And Nhlamulo Ndhlela, thank you very much for talking to us this morning. Appreciate your time. Nhlamulo Ndhlela speaks for the MK party. And this is in the aftermath of this expulsion now of former ANC President Jacob Zuma.